Welcome to the second edition Pathfinder Basics Guide. My name is Model 42 and today we are going to look at attacking, dealing damage, and dying. Attacking a target, no matter if with a melee weapon, a ranged weapon or a spell attack, works exactly the same. You take a d20, add your ability modifier, add your proficiency, item bonuses and other bonuses to that roll. If that roll is equal to or greater than the target's armor class DC, you deal damage to them. Melee attacks usually use their strength modifier, unless the weapon has the agile trait, in which case you may use dexterity instead, while ranged attacks use your dexterity modifier. Spell attacks use the main class ability as their modifier, for example intelligence for a wizard, wisdom for a cleric, or charisma in the case of a sorcerer. Once you hit your target, you take the dice listed in your weapon or spell and roll them. Roll the damage dice for your weapon or spell and add any bonuses to it. Don't forget your strength modifier for melee weapons or thrown weapons, and then subtract any penalties you might have. If your attack has damage types, for example, slashing or fire, all damage done by this attack so far has that damage type. After that, check your enemy for immunities, which negates all damage of a certain type, resistances, which reduces damage of a type by a certain listed value, and weaknesses, which adds damage to the final value, equal to a listed value. You check for immunities first, followed by weaknesses and finally resistances. After you calculated the damage for its final value, you subtract it from the target's hit points. If you can double the damage because of a critical hit or failure, it is doubled before you check for immunities, resistances and weaknesses. Also, some bonus damage is not doubled, but this is very specific and usually listed in the ability or feat. If the hit points were reduced to 0 by a non-lethal attack, the target falls unconscious, but is still alive. If it was lethal damage, which it will be in most cases, in the case of an enemy, it will die instantly. If your hit points are reduced to 0 by lethal damage, you fall unconscious and receive the dying one condition. If it was a critical hit or a critical fail of yours that triggered the damage, you receive dying 2 instead. In both cases your place in the initiative is changed to right before the source of the damage that knocked you out. At the start of each of your turns, as long as you have the dying condition, you make a flat check, using no modifiers and proficiencies, rolling a d20 against a DC of 10 plus your dying value. If you succeed, it is reduced by 1. On a fail it is increased by 1. Critical successes and failures will increase that value to 2. Taking damage while dying will increase the condition by 1, or 2 if it was critical. If your dying condition ever reaches 4, you will die. Should it ever become 0, you lose the condition and gain the wounded 1 condition, or increase it by 1, if already wounded. Whenever you would receive the dying condition, its value is increased by the values of wounded, or doomed, or both if applicable. Wounded vanishes when healed or resting, while doomed is reduced by 1 after each long rest, once per day. Should you ever take damage equal to or greater than double your maximum hit points, you die immediately. Also, there are spells and abilities that can kill instantly, and they will not trigger the dying condition. If you have 1 or more hero points available and would die, you can spend all of them when the dying value would increase or at the start of your turn, to lose the condition and wake up with 1 hit point. This cannot be used against instant death effects. Like a movie hero would say, hit hard and try to stay alive. This lesson is concluded and you can find all information about what we talked about in more detail in the core rulebook, starting at page 446 and following. Thank you so much for watching, and if this video was helpful to you, please leave a like, subscribe for more content and maybe write a comment and tell me if the prospect of your character dying scares you.